Hi, this is Sam from SPL Reviews, and today we are looking at the Twistura Beta. Priced at $119, the Beta sits in the entry-level IEM segment, where competition is fairly relaxed, and manufacturers often have the flexibility to experiment with tuning, accessories, and modular designs. In this category, you can expect decent build quality, approachable technical performance and fun, personality-driven signatures, but you typically won't see the refinement or layering depth found in pricier mid-tier to endgame sets. So starting with the packaging, this is quite a big box. Twistura actually puts strong emphasis on accessory value here. And inside the box, you will get the earphones here with your standard 0.78 2-pin connector, high purity oxygen free detachable copper cable with interchangeable plugs, your 3.5mm unbalanced and 4.4 balanced. We have the option for multiple tuning nozzles. We have several sets of silicone ear tips including alternative styles, a pretty hefty carry case and your standard documentation. The build quality of the earphones feels solid. The shells are well assembled and feel durable without being overly heavy, but these are nonetheless on the slightly heavy side. The IEM shells themselves are made of precision crafted CNC aluminum alloy. Inside the shell, a single 11mm dual magnetic dual cavity dynamic driver is in charge of generating sound. Fit is comfortable for me and the nozzle length provides a stable seal. Isolation is respectable and I didn't experience pressure buildup or venting discomfort during longer listening sessions. But the weight can be an issue for long listening sessions. The faceplates are in a nice silver shade and there are grooves etched along the Twistura logo in a black circle. They do come with 9 sets of ear tips in different styles in 3 boxes. You have your standard narrow bore, wide bore and something in between. The nozzle diameter is fairly standard, so third-party tip compatibility shouldn't be an issue. If you like to experiment some more, you can do it. The included cable is functional and easy to handle with no microphonic issues. It's quite thick and hefty and appropriate for the IEM. Aside from being a bit rubbery textured, the copper color suits the aesthetic well. The carry case is a faux leather hard case with a very pleasant violet color having a magnetic locking mechanism. This might not fit in your pocket, but it will protect your IEM safely. The nozzle system is one of the defining features here. Swapping nozzles is straightforward and the threading feels secure enough that I didn't worry about durability or accidental loosening. But do be careful playing with the nozzles as they are tiny and dropping them could mean losing them. Also, be mindful not to let dust or liquid get inside the hole during swapping nozzles, which could potentially damage the driver. Sensitivity on the Beta is rated 124 decibels per volt RMS at 1 kHz with an impedance of 20 ohms. In practical use, that makes the Beta very easy to drive. Even basic dongles or smartphones can reach comfortable listening levels without effort. In my testing, scaling with more powerful gear was present but relatively subtle. Improvements lean more towards refinement rather than dramatic changes in performance. Source pairing can still influence the listening experience slightly. Cleaner or brighter leaning sources can make the presence region feel more pronounced, while slightly warmer sources can smooth things out a bit. The differences aren't night and day, but they are noticeable depending on your chain and listening preferences. Now let's dive into the sound. Bass on the Beta is controlled and relatively fast. Sub-bass extension is present but not heavily emphasized. Mid-bass is clean and impactful to my ears. Bass texture leans slightly dry and tight rather than elastic or weighty. Decay is quick, which helps separation but does not reduce physical slam. Bass layering is competent, but this tuning clearly treats bass as supportive rather than dominant. The mid-range is where the Beta's identity really shows. Lower mids are lean, which helps maintain clarity and prevents congestion. Upper mids are forward and highly articulate. Vocals sit close to the listener and micro details are easy to follow. Depending on listener preferences, this can sound expressive and engaging, but over longer sessions it can also start to feel slightly insistent. Male vocals can lean thinner, while female vocals can become intense on brighter recordings. Treble continues that presence-focused character. Lower treble carries strong energy, emphasizing attack and detail retrieval. However, upper treble extension is more moderate, so the sound leans towards sharp articulation rather than airy sparkle. Sibilance control is generally decent, but recordings that already contain vocal sharpness can become more noticeable here. At least that's what I heard. Overall, the Twistura Beta leans toward a neutral bright or present tilted tuning. It prioritizes articulation, forward vocals, and clarity rather than warmth or laid back smoothness. Since the flexibility is a major part of the Beta's design, I've spent time testing each included nozzle to understand how they affect the overall presentation. With a standard or silver nozzle, the configuration feels closest to the intended baseline tuning. The sound remains forward but relatively controlled and cohesive. Vocal clarity is strong and overall balance feels the most stable across genres. With the vocal or gold nozzle, it increases the upper mid and lower treble emphasis. Detailed perception improves and instrument edges feel sharper. This one is also quite sibilant if you are not careful with ear tips. This presentation becomes more analytical and vivid. For listeners who enjoy maximum clarity, this may be the most engaging options. For me, this is where the listening fatigue appeared the fastest during longer sessions. With the instrumental or black nozzle, the configuration slightly reduces presence intensity. Vocals become smoother and the overall tone gains a touch more body. The core tuning still remains clarity focused, but the delivery becomes more forgiving and easier for extended listening. So, technical performance wise, the Beta performs very well for its price. Resolution is solid, separation is clean, and imaging accuracy is reliable. Stage width is moderate, with decent layering and stable positional cues. Macro dynamics are controlled rather than explosive, while micro detail retrieval benefits from the forward tuning. So if I compare the three nozzles tunings directly against each other, the silver nozzle provides the most cohesive and versatile presentation. The gold nozzle emphasizes clarity, edge definition, and vocal immediacy, but can push intensity higher. The black nozzle slightly relaxes presence and improves long-term comfort, though it sacrifices a bit of perceived detail sharpness. Across all three, the Beta retains its core personality. The nozzles adjust intensity and flavor rather than shifting the IM into completely different tuning categories. So, who this is for? If you enjoy boosted upper mids and lower treble with forward vocals, crisp articulation and clarity focused tuning, the Twistura Beta could work for you. But if you are sensitive to upper mids or prefer a smoother, warmer neutral style, this tuning may feel more intense rather than comfortable. Final thoughts. The Beta is interesting because it tries to punch above its class with a modular nozzle system and a tuning forward sound that aims to give listeners clarity, presence, and detail retrieval, making it stand out in its price range. At the same time, it's important to note that this isn't a warm or universally easygoing set. It leans toward forward vocals and energetic upper mids, which may not suit everyone. For me personally, the Twistura Beta didn't fully align with my tonal preferences. Even after experimenting with all nozzle options, the upper mid and lower treble balance stayed slightly outside my neutral comfort zone. That said, the Beta isn't flawed in any shape or form. It simply has a very defined tuning identity. Listeners who enjoy presence-focused clarity may find it extremely appealing. As always, knowing your own listening preferences is more important than chasing hype. That's all for this one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.